r/AskReddit. Serious, has a friend ever said something that just straight up ended the friendship? What happened? Hey, do you wanna be your own boss and retire by 25? I'm the dumped friend. She posted a video from The Onion of a fake senator reading a fake bill that was all redacted, and you could tell with context clues it was basically saying in the event of Armageddon, the high-powered people have bunkers to hide in. She made some comment about the redacting and our government is hiding stuff. I commented that it was a satire video and not real. She got super mad and accused me of trying to make her look stupid. She said there was no way she could have known. The Onion was in the bottom right hand corner of the video. She blocked me and we have never spoken since. We had known each other for at least 5 years. More accurately, my parents, took her in when she ran away from home for, like, a year when we were teens. When her husband beat her up, early 20s, I road tripped all night to pick her back and move her back in. In college, a former friend tried to have sex with me. I'm also a guy. While I was blackout drunk, he was not drunk. He did that despite knowing I am straight and had a girlfriend at the time. Lucky for me there were some actual friends that stopped him. I got sexually assaulted by 2 guys in a summer camp and told it to my best friend. After calling me stupid for letting that happen, she apologized and I forgave her. Then I saw her parents, who asked how summer camp went, and all she did was turn to me and go, "Well, you made many friends, didn't you? Don't you wanna tell my parents about it?" With a big smile on her face. I don't feel too bad about thinking that she can duck off in hell. My best mate's now ex-girlfriend told everyone I had sex with her while they were dating, when I definitely had not. She was the most irritating person I'd ever met, and I don't know if I've ever been attracted to someone less than I was to her. Ruined our friendship and destroyed her relationship with my mate. She is one of those people that crave drama and can't live without having something wrong to moan about. She's currently pretending to have multiple personality disorder and blaming that for every time she's a donghead so she can get away with it. And archway from the church venue, and those ducks gave my number and told them I was supposed to be picking them up. That didn't happen. Best friend and ex-co-worker for 5 years. Confided in her and told her about my self-harming, depression and stuff I went through as a child. You can imagine. 2 days later she not only told the whole of my old workplace but told my family too. Absolutely heartbreaking. She told me to never speak to her again after she learned I was hearing voices, and we never spoke again. One of my best friends of several years set me up to get robbed for £390. My wallet and my jacket. The guy who robbed me pulled a machete on me and kept it against my neck. I don't really know why they decided they want to do it, but I know from enough people, and just the way it all happened gave me suspicions, telling me it was him that I found out. So naturally I stopped being friends with him, because it was a bit of a dong move and all. You know what? Recently, like late 2019, I started getting out of the house. I'm a single father of 2 girls and I've focused on them 1000% for a really long time. I finally got out of the house a few times, and I'm serious, I went to this friend's house a few times for game nights, basically drinking and cards, till this dude hauled off and hit me for accidentally touching his ducking hat of all things. What struck me most is that they were hosting and didn't even offer an apology to me. It was quite insane for me. It was like I was back in high school, unducking real. I gave them ample time to ducking realize what happened. It took the person 3 months to even realize we are no longer friends on social media, and she's trying to add me back now. And honestly, it ducking broke something in me. What? I'm sorry. I have no idea what you are talking about. I have always had her best interest at heart, so I dunno. Yeah, well, then why didn't you tell her you had herpes before you ducked her? Wait, what? She and I never had sex and I don't have herpes, so I'm a little confused here. Stop ducking lying. Husband told the whole thing and she never denied it, so duck you. Don't ducking ever speak to us again. Alright. Come to find out, that a-hole had herpes and didn't tell her, and he gave her herpes, and when it got out that she had herpes somehow, he blamed it on me and she just let the lie take hold because it was easier than her family hating her husband. Alright. Cheers. Consider it a parting gift. I was 16 and had my first boyfriend. I confided in my best friend of a decade that I was really upset because he got annoyed at something I said at Baskin Robbins and threw me against a table and then down on the floor, and that it wasn't the first time he'd shoved me around. She told me that she didn't want to hear it and that I had no right to complain because, unlike her, at least I had a boyfriend. That was pretty much that for our friendship. And my best friend was trying to get me to drive 30 minutes to her house to go swimming when I had to pack to leave town the next day. She kept pushing and pushing, but when she finally realized I wasn't going to agree, she sat back and said, "You wouldn't be any fun even if you had your health." I left and didn't speak to her again. After convincing me to delete my accounts everywhere and make new ones, after promising me that they'll protect me from my abusive ex, after witnessing everything my ex done to me, and how it scarred me for life, I found out that my best friend was dating my ex behind my back for months, lying about it the whole time. I didn't know who my friend was dating, as they refused to introduce them in person. It turns out they've been dating behind my back a few weeks before my ex broke up with me. The whole thing scarred me to this day. It's been a year and I haven't heard from either of them since, though. Good riddance. Edit. Spelling. Punctuation. Had a whole bunch do it at once. I used to have a group of people I thought were my friends. Because of this, I did a lot for them. I helped them out by working on their projects, supported them, let one stay in my home rent-free when they were in danger of becoming homeless. I did all that for these people, but 2 years in a row, they couldn't be bothered to do something as simple and easy as meet up with me for drinks to celebrate my birthday. Half of them didn't even bother responding to being invited. I've pretty much cut them all out my life now. I'm done being used by those who don't care about me. Next day I confronted him, and after looking in my eyes and denying what I had seen for 30 minutes, it was like his mask came off. I have never understood the descriptions of the coldness of eyes until that moment. He just looked at me, smiled, and said honestly, "I just don't care. We are no longer friends." Everyone else eventually figures out that he was batshit and takes a step back. He checks into a psych ward for 3 days, but keeps the admittance bracelet on for the next 3 weeks. Tells everyone he talks to, using my name, about this bitch who destroyed his life and caused him to attempt suicide. Don't be friends with psychopaths, kids. If they have alienated everyone they ever knew, the common denominator is them. My ex hit me and his girlfriend up with the messages. My ex and his girlfriend decided to go together at his place and expose him. I didn't want to do with any of that, but I didn't want anything to happen to either of the girls. So we show up. His mom greets us and lets us in. As soon as he saw us three he knew that his shit was up but acted all surprised. We told him we knew. He kept defending his case by saying his little brother, who was ducking 6, sent my ex those messages. Well, to make a long story short, his pregnant girlfriend left him. He's currently paying child support. He also moved out of the state like a month later. My ex and I are back together and 3 months into our marriage. One year for our birthdays we said we would buy each other massages at this super fancy spa. When we got there she asked if I could also get her a facial and it would be her Christmas gift too. I said sure. When it came time to check out she told me she couldn't afford my massage. So I bought mine, hers and her facial. She never paid me back. She was a straight up awful person who needed to put me down to feel better about herself, and I let her, for 10 years. My cousin and I were inseparable as teens. He went on his mission, Mormon, and I went to hang out for a few days when he got back. I was so excited. I got there, paid for all the fun stuff we went out to do, no problem. His childhood friend and I were trying to get him to go for a walk to this cave we used to go to, and he decided to tell me what a piece of trash I am and I'm going to hell because I'm gay. I didn't say a word as I drove him home immediately. I said get out and haven't talked to him in the 8 years since then. Duck him. We had one friend that said he fell on bad times with money, so we paid everything for him during the next couple of months. Drinks, cigars, travel. And after a few months we found out he was going out with new people all that time and was acting rich in front of them with all the money he was saving by scamming us. I hope it was as worth it for him as it was for us. Didn't love my dog when he was dog sitting. Carelessly let her run away, then failed to look for her. My surveillance cameras caught it all. I was pissed. Friendship over. I went to stay the night with one of my best friends. Long story short, the entire night was just her on her phone, not invested or listening to anything I said. I knew this BC. I tested it by saying something that could not be funny in the slightest, and she let out this huge fake laugh without looking up from her phone. This was a problem I'd been having with her the past year at most. She wanted to go to sleep super early because she was tired. I ended up lying and saying I needed to go home and she was more than fine with it. After all she wanted to do was sleep or text. Not even an hour after I'm home, I see her Snapchat story of her at her other new friend's house drinking and seemingly having a blast. Not only was it hurtful she did that, but that she didn't care I would see it. That was when I decided we were no longer best friends. I still get sad about it because we had been so close since junior high. Some people just change for the worst. Edit. This will be the third friend I've shared on. Pretty embarrassing for me, but this is the worst one I have. A friend who I just spent an entire weekend with took advantage of my MySpace page being logged into her computer, posted as me saying I was coming out lesbian, messaged multiple of our classmates too, and made my default a terrible saturated acne photo of me, to say the least. I've had bad luck with girlfriends. An ex-friend of mine was pushing me for inappropriate images under the flimsy guise of joking, seemingly out of nowhere. I was in a 3-year relationship with my now husband, and this ex-friend of mine also had a GF of his own during this whole ordeal. Real classy. Now, this wasn't really something he had done previously in all our years knowing one another, so with that in mind I foolishly tried to give him the benefit of the doubt and just made it unmistakably clear to him that if he didn't stop behaving like a mindless pervert I'd cut contact and end our friendship. Then one day I got an image text. It was his boner outlined in gym shorts and a sad and completely see-through fish for compliments than the most pathetic backpedal of the century. Friendship of 10 plus years ended, but not before I ducking laid into him first before blocking that toxic predator's ass. Duck you, Lyle. She said that relationships were more important than school as a reason for refusing to help on a group project. She was obsessed with her new boyfriend and didn't want to do anything else. We sent the emails to our physics teacher and she got put into her own group. I was gaming with my best friend and my wife was sitting on the couch next to me just reading a book. She was super content just letting me game. She just wanted to be spending time with me. My friend had a not even 1-year-old kid that he just stuck in a bouncing chair in the side of the room while we played. He said the kid loves the chair and is in it a lot, so he just games. The kid starts whining a bit, but he gets ignored. I'm thinking we'll probably hit this checkpoint and he'll go tend to his kid. Nope. Several good stopping points had passed and the kid was fussing even more now. So my buddy says to my wife's name, "There's formula in the cupboard and the diaper bag is over in the corner there. He's probably just hungry and has a poopy diaper if you wanna feed and change him." I looked at this guy like he'd just slapped her, turned my game off and said, how about instead of asking my wife to do it, you put down your game and take care of your own child? A bit of a harsh response, but he looked so butthurt that I just told him to take care of his own child instead of game all day. I packed my stuff up and we left. I haven't spoken to him in 3 years. too long didn't read. My former best friend told my wife to feed and change his infant child so he could keep playing video games. We don't speak anymore. Last year, I think, this man sexually assaulted a teenage boy, 16 or 17, and the man was a middle school principal. The boy went into depression and was contemplating suicide, and he now has mental problems. I was talking to my friends about it in a group chat, and one of my friends who knew the man started defended him as if her life depended on it. Started cussing me out and talking about how he's always nice with her. Obviously he won't touch you. You're a girl. My other friend kicked her out of the group and we all blocked her. The victim of the situation preferred killing himself over telling someone about it, and it broke me. As for that friend, I want nothing to do with her. I've had friends just straight up stop talking to me, which I guess is a strong indicator that our friendship is over. Yes, for some background, I was best friends with this girl, let's call her Alice, for several years. I had just ended a relationship with a guy that through the course of our 5-year relationship developed an addiction to opioids that ultimately resulted in our painful breakup, and I'm B. Anyway, I started dating a woman I met through Alice. Alice was becoming increasingly territorial, even before I started hanging out with this woman. Eventually we became more serious, and Alice called my girlfriend and told her that I'd said she was just some lesbian that was obsessed with me about my girlfriend. These words have never and would never leave my mouth. It was just Alice's attempt at sabotaging our relationship. Fortunately my girlfriend knew better and called me immediately, and I was able to fix the situation and right the wrong. However, my friendship with Alice was absolutely done as soon as I knew this. Side note, Alice has since completely ruined multiple other friendships within our friend group because of her deceit and mistreatment of people. It's the most vivid example of karma I can think of. Edit. Words. My buddy told me he would, no kidding, get so wasted drunk at my wedding. Like blackout drunk, like at the last wedding he went to where he was so drunk the bride and groom had to take him home on their wedding night. He went from being in the wedding party to just a guest to not invited to never speaking to me again in a matter of about 2 hours. That was 16 years ago. I'm still married and have legit never heard from him again. Cheers, Greg, who worked at Pepsi in NY. Hope you're sober now. Edit. Let me add something to clarify. That says why he wasn't invited. I spelled it out for him. That we would not be friends. We won't talk. You can't come if and only if you get fall down blackout drunk at the wedding reception. Come and drink, have a good time. But his response was, I'm doing it. I'm getting wasted. That's why he went from being in the wedding party a groomsman to just being a guest to not being invited at all. And you aren't an alcoholic if you can control your drinking at all times except for when there is an open bar at weddings. He wasn't fall down blackout drunk for work, or church, or dating, or at any other time. Only during open bars, because when we went out drinking and he had no problem stopping when he was paying the bill, or work the next day, or a date or any other commitment. Yup, she said she was going to kill herself because of me. All I did was plan an event her baby couldn't come to. I get she was dealing with postpartum depression, but that's a hard no for me. Said I was being a bad friend for not wanting to game after my 6th 10-hour shift that week. I was beyond exhausted and desperately wanted to go to bed. Said friend also called me a little bitch because I was worried that I got my then GF pregnant before this incident. That GF later left me for other reasons. So I decided to start making changes without her holding me back. New job, different living arrangement. Started doing more outside of the house, etc. I didn't mean for him to be one of the things left behind. But I've gotten out of that pit and have much better friends now. So, my friends and I all found out that another friend, from here on known as BG4 birthday girl, had never had a surprise birthday thrown for her, and it was her dream. So we decided to make that happen. My husband planned a big get together at another friend's house. We invited lots of friends, bought lots of food and even barbecue equipment, and really went all out. BG found out about the surprise party a few weeks beforehand by accident, and was thrilled, like, broke down sobbing. She was so happy because no one had ever done it for her before. Awesome. We were hyped. 2 days before the party, She texts my husband that she's changed plans and is going bowling with another friend instead, but we're invited to come. 8D. What? We were floored and pretty pissed, and lots of people were already committed to coming to this thing, so we just had the party without her, and she texted us some super angry messages because we didn't show up for bowling. Now no one is friends with her. She spread a rumor that my girlfriend of the time didn't really exist, that social circle never met her due to the GF living in another town, and that I made this girlfriend up to cover for the fact that I was actually dating her, the one spreading the rumor. I was furious and broke off all contact as soon as I heard about it. Bye. Never spoke to her again. Helped a girl who was going through a very bad time when she was 15 and I was 17. Gave her a room at my house. Fed her. Made sure she went to school. Nearly lost all my old friends making sure this girl was safe. Still don't really speak to them. Over the years, we've had disagreements. More terrible things happened to her and I also moved country so I could work and sort out my own mental issues. I've held in my mental issues for longer than I've known this woman. I didn't want to worry or upset her. In case she felt it was her fault, it definitely wasn't. I moved back to where I used to last year to help my father who was seriously ill and to help her. The last month or two, my mental state has deteriorated massively. Dark thoughts, emotions becoming very unstable, extreme loneliness, etc. I asked my friend if I could speak to her about how I felt. I sent 2 messages about it and got the replies, "I can't deal with this and you're so pushy, I hate it, you're my friend." Told me she'll text me when she feels like it. My only real friend of the past 5 years, who I'll admit I love her like a sister and would blindly support her, no matter what, no longer talks to me because I've been struggling with mental issues and asked if I could talk to her. TLDR, only real friend I have abandoned me in the one time I've needed them since I've known them. Edit. Thank you for all the replies. They all mean so much to me. I met up with an old friend after not seeing him after a few years. Turns out he's a huge misogynist and would pretend to care about a girl just to duck her over. He also was always coming up with schemes to get laid without any consideration as to what the girls would feel. That was the last time I spoke to him. Was in a big eclectic group. 10-12 people. We did karaoke, bowling, dinner. Lots of people from various age, LGBT, couples, singles. We all met at a karaoke event in a bar, but we ended up sticking together for a few years doing activities, but one of the older women started chain emailing everyone about Obama being a Muslim and etc etc. It didn't ring very well with the group and we sort of fell apart quickly. Bro, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.